The 10-1 Detroit Lions are hosting the 4-7 Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving. And I think it's safe to say that the Bears are officially out of the playoff race. They're coming off a loss against the Vikings where they were down 14 in the fourth quarter, bring the deficit to 3, get the onside kick, get the deep pass to DJ Moore, kick the field goal to send it into overtime as time expires, and then they lose in overtime. For the Bears to make the playoffs, they'd have to finish out their 6-game stretch going 5-1 to get a 9-8 record. I don't think that's possible, but you never know. Instead of finding ways to win, the Bears like to find ways to lose, but they are still a talented team. Caleb Williams has put together 2 phenomenal games over the past 2 weeks. And with the current injuries to the Lions defense, that does worry me a little bit. Thursday afternoon, the Lions hope to snap a 7-game losing streak on Thanksgiving. We all know that the moon dictates whether or not the Lions will win on Thanksgiving, and the moon will be in a waning crescent phase. And since 2000, the Lions have a 3-3 record on Thanksgiving where the moon is a waning crescent phase. So we got a 50-50 shot. Some other good news is that it's Eric Washington's first year as the Bears DC, meaning he's never matched up against this Lions offense. Last year, the Bears and Lions split. Both teams won at home. The Lions had a phenomenal comeback in the fourth quarter to beat the Bears. But they were both close games, and the reason because of that was Justin Fields running all over the Lions defense. And it's also surprising the Bears beat the Lions last year when Matt Eberflus is 5-18 in one-score games and 2-12 against the NFC North. I feel like the Lions will win this game. That's my prediction as of now, but I'm a little worried about the Lions defense. Detroit's in a 9-game heater after just rolling through the AFC South in 4 of their last 5 games. They won 24-6 against the Colts, and there are some phenomenal statistics about the Lions' past few matchups. Starting it off, the NFC North is the first division since 2002 to have 3 teams with 8 wins after 12 weeks of the season. Every game for the Lions is huge. They need to stay in first place in the division. They have the tiebreaker over the Vikings and Packers as of now. And for the playoff standings, they got to stay ahead of Philadelphia, who look unstoppable. Next, the Lions have outscored their opponents in the last 3 games 53-0, which is awesome. Through 11 games, they haven't allowed a passer to throw 2 touchdowns in the same game. The Lions are the only team to have a kicker not miss a field goal attempt yet. Jake Bates is unreal. And through their last 3 games, the Jags, the Colts in the second half of the Texans, they haven't allowed a touchdown in the last 10 quarters of football. So after saying all of that, why are you worried about the Thanksgiving matchup against the Bears? Well, I'm worried about it because of the injuries. Kindle Vildor on the outside is a liability. We all remember him against Ayuk in the NFC Championship game, and the Colts saw him out there and they went after him. Vildor at one point during the game lost in coverage. He was getting beat consistently. It's not good. And if Caleb Williams continues to play how he is, he could shred up this Lions secondary. Terrion Arnold was out, missing the game with a groin injury. That's who Vildor filled in for. And Ennis Rakestraw is on IR. Anthony Richardson is a young quarterback like Caleb Williams. I think people would agree with me when I say that Caleb Williams is the better of the two. However, the scoreboard doesn't reflect how close the game really was last Sunday when the Lions took on the Colts. There was drop passes, a drop touchdown pass. Huge plays continued to get taken away by offensive penalties for the Colts. Some long passes. Jonathan Taylor's only good run of the night was taken back. He was shut down 35 yards and 11 carries after he's having a solid year. The Lions' run defense continues to be one of the best in the NFL. DJ Reader's playing phenomenal. Aleem McNeil probably had one of his best games. Za'Darius Smith is playing extremely well, and he also seems like he's a great person for the Lions culture. But I worry about the Lions secondary if Terrion Arnold is out and Carlton Davis is also dealing with an injury. We don't know if he's going to play or not. He's questionable. He said that we will find out later in the week. But at least we found out that Monty and Taylor Decker are both good to go. Calif Raymond, though, that's another big loss. He's been having some phenomenal punt returns this season and was used in the receiving game. I don't think he's going to play. But on the other side of the ball, as I said before, I'm not worried about the Lions offense. Aaron Jones rushed for over 100 yards against the Bears on Sunday. There's going to be a short week, leading the defense to have little rest and preparation for the Lions' strong offensive line. Sam Darnold was able to throw for over 300 yards. Jordan Addison had a phenomenal game. And with the Bears defense kind of taking Justin Jefferson out of the game, 5 targets, only 2 receptions, where Addison had 160 yards and a touchdown. He's coming off his best game, 4 receptions off 4 targets, 55 yards. I've guessed we'll probably see 2 receptions from him. He had that one big catch downfield earlier in the season. I think the Lions like to spread the ball around a ton when they're playing some of these not as good teams. So when they play teams like the Bears, their divisional opponents, or when they have to play the Bills in a few days, when those teams are watching film, there is just so much they have to take into account for. So many different players, so many different formations, and things like laterals. It's unbelievable though how Brad Holmes continues to get talent for the Lions without using up a ton of capital. He gets players for nothing. He doesn't get necessarily nobodies. Sometimes they are, but he gets them to play so hard for the Lions, and he brings them to the next level. DJ Reader last year injured. Brad Holmes picks him up. He's been phenomenal. Zadarius Smith, you think he's a bit older. He's putting in the work. Players like Kirby Joseph, St. Brown, some of the best skill levels at their position throughout the whole NFL, they're 3rd round, 4th round draft picks. Jake Bates had never kicked a field goal in college. You hear it all the time on the broadcast, and he was selling bricks. Tim Patrick's 31 years old. Jared Goff was left out by the Rams. The Bears didn't want David Montgomery. And of course, there's so many more, but Brad Holmes continuing to do this is huge. And it reminds me a little bit about the Chiefs, where they just plug and play different players in all the time, like Kareem Hunt coming in. They get players to play hard for their team. But back to Caleb Williams, I think he's going to be able to throw the ball, especially if Arnold's not playing. He's going to find DJ Moore. He's going to find Keenan Allen. It's going to be hard for this Lions secondary to stop him. Hopefully the pass rush continues to be strong, even stronger, and gets to Caleb Williams as their offensive line has struggled. I think DeAndre Swift is going to get stuffed playing against his former team. The Lions' run defense is phenomenal, and when Anthony Richardson went out on his first drive, he was running the ball a ton and effectively. They kind of went away from that. He was getting tackled hard and hit a lot, and he wasn't able to do it as much. I think they wanted him to throw the ball. They were down. They couldn't just keep running it with him. Caleb Williams, though, he might have success rushing the football. We saw him have some really successful scrambles against the Vikings. A lot of big plays. He hurdled over his own lineman and got out of bounds for the first down. It's just a little worrisome with Vildor out there, and Carlton Davis might not play, or he might not be 100%. It's a short week. Caleb Williams likes to rush the ball. The Lions have struggled against the Bears with rushing quarterbacks, Justin Fields. For the past few years, Justin Fields has put up some pretty incredible numbers against the Lions when he's running the football. And Caleb Williams threw for over 300 yards against a strong Vikings secondary. But he is still a rookie and is prone to mistakes like the sack he took in overtime, which pretty much cost him the game. Overall, I'm really excited for this game. I think the Lions will win. Finally, on Thanksgiving, they're the better team. Their defense is still strong, just that there are a few weak spots. The run defense, though, shines. Offensively, though, they're just too good. I don't think the Bears are going to be able to keep up with the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs has been running the ball extremely well. Jared Goff has been throwing the ball well. St. Brown just doesn't drop anything. They just seem too unstoppable offensively, and the Bears and a rookie quarterback, I don't think they're going to be able to keep up to them. I imagine Caleb Williams will throw for a decent amount of yards, but did you know that the Lions rank 1st in the NFL for passing touchdowns allowed with only 0.5? And with the Lions' extremely good run game, how are teams supposed to get into the end zone? That's why the Lions' red zone defense is one of the best in the NFL, and that's why they win so many games. Other teams are getting in the red zone, but then the Lions just hold them to field goals. I expect a big game out of St. Brown, big game out of Gibbs and Laporta. And it's Thanksgiving. Montgomery hasn't scored a touchdown this year against an NFC opponent. 0 against Green Bay, 0 against Minnesota. Will he finally get it? I feel like it'd be hard to see Thanksgiving without a Monty touchdown. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. The more I talk about it, I believe the Lions will win, but I feel like there is a chance the Bears could keep it close, especially if Vildor's out there, Terron Arnold's not playing, and Caleb Williams is playing well. Otherwise, it definitely could be a domination and a Caleb Williams meltdown. But he played pretty good last week, so I'd expect maybe a little something out of him.